Directions for creating your compass circle art. This is a compass for drawing circles, but for this project we're actually gonna mix up trying it out with a paintbrush. If you notice, one side has a metal little top that looks kind of like a pen, and the other side has a pencil on it. We're going to take some time and practice using this compass with a pencil today. Eventually for the project, we will use a paintbrush that I will switch out for you later. Please do not remove the pencil or try to make adjustments with the pencil. These are kind of fragile plastic and we need to treat them with extra special care so they last a long time and so that we get to keep using these cool tools. Using a piece of practice paper, place that metal part down that looks like a pen, and then gently put the pencil top down, and you're going to carefully turn it on your paper, keeping that metal piece pressed to your paper the whole time. Then you can make an adjustment, keeping the metal piece in the same spot, and then gently squeezing the compass to make it smaller for a smaller circle on the inside. Keep practicing with different varieties of circles. Lots of small ones, large ones, maybe you want to have some go off the edge. Maybe you can even try without using both hands. See if you can twist it in one hand. Once your paper is full of all varieties of circles, then you are welcome to use a dry coloring material such as colored pencils, crayons, or markers to color in your practice design. Remember your name and teacher code on the back of your paper, and then you're going to add 6 dots to your paper. You can do it similar to me if you would like, or you can mix it up a bit. When we're using these watercolor palettes, it's important to make sure there's a little puddle of water in those paints. If you can't see a little puddle in there, just a tiny puddle, then you need to add more water in order for these to work correctly. Also remember, you do not need to push hard, just gently stir the paint until you can see that the brush is the color of the paint. Then place the metal part on the dot that you drew on your paper on one of those 6 dots and gently, just like when you had the pencil, turn that compass on your paper. It's okay if you goof a little bit, it just gives your painting character. You'll notice I totally do too, but later on it turns out super cool. And just like when you're getting the paint being gentle, you're also being gentle when you're adding the paint to your paper. You only need the brush to touch your paper. It does not need to be squashed very hard, and you do not have to press hard. Make sure that you rinse between each color and blot it with a sponge or paper towel. Then you can move on to your next color. When I switch to my next circle, I'm going to adjust the size of my compass, so I'm squeezing it a little closer, putting my metal piece back on the dot, and then adding a smaller circle on the inside. Once again, be very gentle with this. Take your time and go slow to help your circles stay circular. Keep going with this process and fill your paper up with tons of circles. It's okay if your circles go off the edge of your paper. It's okay if they bump each other. Have a goal of doing at least a pair of 2, but you could do more if you want. It is a lot of fun once you get going. As a final step, you'll switch to a larger paintbrush without the compass, and you're going to paint in the remaining white areas of your background. My goal while I was painting was to try and not have the same color touch. So for example, if I painted the blue circle here, I'm painting green next to it instead of blue next to it. But it's entirely up to you what you choose. Also, keep in mind color mixing and what colors, if they overlap, what colors might they make. So think about that as you go along painting in your background.